It is said that when your eye is single, your entire body will be filled with light. What that means is that these two eyes that we're looking through aren't showing us the truth. They are showing us the illusion of form. And if we truly want to know ourselves and what's going on in the world around us, we need to see with our third eye, the eye that fills our entire body with light. And when our entire body gets filled with light, we are faced with those parts of ourselves that have been hidden in the dark, forcing us to learn to master transparency rather than imagining ourselves to be this solid thing that can hide our darkness or that can defend us from the darkness of others. We need to bring ourselves to a place where things pass through us and where we can allow ourselves to examine those darker parts of ourselves that we are identifying with, while at the same time not being attached or afraid or trying to control the coming and the going of that shadow energy. For the third eye to become open, for the third eye to become reliable, we need to consistently practice meditation and tuning in to the energy of trust and surrender to a power higher than us. Because when we have a Kundalini awakening, or even when we're meditating or opening up spiritual dimensions in our lives, we can have visions, we can see things, we can hear things, we can have very vivid dreams. But those are products of the astral realm, which is an ever-changing, shifty place where our projections come to life, or our fantasies, or our delusions, or disembodied entities. Millions of things can go on in the astral realm, but we have to learn to master ourselves and the understanding that it is the astral realm, and we can't take everything we hear or see at face value. This is where mastering the third eye for real, mastering ourselves for real, is so important, because we get pulled in directions that take us very far from our spiritual center. And while they may feel different than ordinary life, and so we imagine them to be spiritual, really they're distractions and delusions, and just another way to be entrapped in Maya, however more subtle, however more tricky to master, however more the need for a solid foundation and spiritual practice every day, and spiritual guidance and a spiritual group, and to form our life around the commitment. And it's not even a choice. It's like, you know in your heart why you're here on earth. You can't make yourself want to commit to your spiritual progress if your karma isn't ready. Even when you have a Kundalini awakening, even how much spiritual progress you're likely to make in this lifetime is all determined by your karma. It can be seen and deciphered through your astrological chart. When things happen, how things happen, what you're likely to do based on who you've been. So what we're dealing with in awakening is based on who we've been, what we're going to do, why we're still here, and what we might want to do differently than what we've done before that keeps getting us in these same loops, or what our families did so that we are prone to do these things. Because we stay in this loop, and the third eye is meant to pull us out of the loop, because the third eye is beyond duality, beyond time and space. The third eye is what tunes us into the presence. We talk about Kali as a personification of the Kundalini, or this fierce transformational energy that stops at nothing to reunite with her beloved Shiva. However, Kundalini energy needs to be understood in terms of the quality of our life, because the energy needs to be contained and confined to the central channel to the best of your ability, so that it can rise in harmony and we can go step by step along the way. But if the energy starts awakening and we just go crazy with it and start reaching out in every direction and believing everything we hear and every dream we have, we can feel like we're going crazy. And while that's part of the learning experience, I'm giving you some advice now, that if we stay focused on our heart and on devotion and we meditate upon our third eye, and we practice sincere humility and surrender, this process will be less treacherous. And the reason it's treacherous is because it's unknown territory. It's not the material world. It is the spiritual world. It is the place we came from and the place we're going to go back to. It's wise that we understand it. But while we're entrapped in the physical body and identifying with our personality, we forget these things. And it's more familiar and comfortable to identify with the form, with what we can see. However, what we can see is ever changing, and what we can see is because of these two eyes, which also don't last. But the energy of the pineal gland and the energy of the third eye, the place where we meet the guru within, the place where we become transcendent of time and space and duality, where we can maintain our composure and our equanimity. That is what we need if we want to truly be of benefit to planet Earth, because until we have mastered equanimity, we cannot master compassion. It takes equanimity to live with an open heart. Otherwise, we're pulled every which way and let our emotions get the best of us. So we need to balance the male and the female within ourselves. And we need to understand that during an awakening, we need to have a solid foundation so that when we start experiencing different dimensions, different parts of ourselves even, that we have the place of groundedness to go back to, so that we don't lose our minds or think we're losing our minds or get pulled into the wrong things and cause more trouble for ourselves. We need to be disciplined. We need to be consistent. We need to be patient. And we need to just relax and let go and understand that life on earth is short and we can't control anything. However, we must take responsibility, and that is part of being grounded. That God or your teacher or anyone wasn't ever meant to do things for you. That would not be kind for them to do things for you. We need to do this for ourselves. And while sometimes how it feels like we can't, that's part of the learning curve. When we keep coming back to our breath and long, deep breathing. If you do Ujjayi breathing, inhaling and exhaling as slowly as you can, up to 15 seconds on the inhale, pause, 15 seconds on the exhale, pause. Inhale thinking so, exhale thinking hum, which is basically you identifying with the transcendent energy of who you are. If you do that Ujjayi breathing, 2 breaths a minute, working up to that with your eyes gently focused on the third eye for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, or an hour a day. If you can't do an hour, do 20 minutes and work up to an hour a day, ideally 2 hours a day. It will change your life and bring you balance. And you don't want to go crazy going off looking for visions. And if you see colors or that little white tunnel or that violet flame, when you meditate upon your third eye, or any shapes or colors or images, you can just observe it and realize that it's just a screen where you're watching things pass. What we're really here to do is harness our energy and contain ourselves and stop identifying with our thoughts or becoming attached to any mystical experience we think we might be having that makes us believe that we know more than we maybe know, that makes us think we are maybe beyond the place we actually are in our spiritual growth. Because these seductions are just seductions. Seductions of the astral realm, just like we have seductions in the material world. They want to pull us away from our center. They want to make us grasp for more or for something, or for our ego to grasp on importance. The true peace, the true love, and the true joy and happiness can be found by not needing anything, by not needing anyone to be a certain way to you, by not needing anything to be added or taken from you, but for you to find a way to be transparent enough that things can pass through you, that you're okay with things coming and going, that you can let go and accept the way things are, and that you can realize that you have a choice as well. And you have the right to make priorities and commitments in your life and take responsibility for who you know you are and what you need to do to get yourself to your fullest potential. Because our life is like a wheel, and in the middle is our spiritual life, and all the spokes are coming off of that. And this is why they say, put God first. God, your highest truth first, and everything else will be added to you. Because we are magnetic energy. We pull our fears to us. We pull our anxieties to us. Everything we're thinking, we're pulling conditions and circumstances that are mimicking that on the outside. And all that's catching up during an awakening. All the shit is hitting the fan, basically. And your energy speeds up and it starts throwing things off, and we start panicking and getting all these feelings stirred up and all sorts of crazy dreams and people doing crazy things, and it all seems insane, and we back off and we dull back down because it seems like it's the safest thing to do, and sometimes it can be. And that is why I say, if you're really serious about your spiritual growth and a Kundalini awakening, you need to put yourself in a supportive environment and get some guidance, because no one can go it alone. I couldn't have done it alone. Nobody can do it alone. And so when we keep coming back to letting go, while at the same time realizing nothing magical is going to fall on our doorstep, except for what we have done in our spiritual practices that our karma has earned us. In the meanwhile, we should not assume and have magical childlike thinking that everything's just going to happen and we're just going to manifest left and right. We should take the practical steps to move forward in our spiritual life, to take care of our material life, all the while practicing that mastery of surrender combined with taking responsibility and knowing the place where those two meet. And how we can do that is the meditating upon the third eye gently with the breathing. And then when you've done that breath meditation, just sit at the end, your eyes gently rolled up to the crown of your head, and feel yourself to be the Buddha with a big full moon of light around your body behind you. The cool, peaceful full moon of Avalokiteshvara, of Om Mani Padme Hum. The grace that you were meant to live in is up to you to understand how to access it. These videos are only my opinion, only my experience, and only made because of my compassionate love for everyone outside of me who is also me.